right, this Pails and Rails video is going to be focused on hip internal rotation. So if you watch the external rotation, right, similar setup, but now, right, what I'm going to be doing is, right, so if I'm rotated towards that lead leg, right, I'm focusing on external rotation, right, of this hip here. I'm going to actually focus on this trail leg, okay? So what I want to do is kind of try to rotate over this trail leg as much as I possibly can. So I'm working, right, that right leg. And so when I'm here and really think about keeping my abs tight, that I'm focusing on more, right, hip internal rotation. So what I'd be doing is, once I get into this position, again, making sure that my abs are tight. And if you can't be in this more upright position, right, I can alter my position by kind of sitting back, okay? And it's really gonna take, it can get, kind of uncomfortable, but you can also kind of go into this side plank position and rotate here, supporting yourself with your elbows, right, to make sure that, right, the abs stay tight, right, spine is neutral, you're not taking any tension to the lumbar. And when I'm here, I can actually, especially on this right side, I can actually already feel the lateral aspect of that hip, right, start to kind of get into that stretch, right? And I'm keeping that glute tight, right? So I'm gonna be in this passive stretch for anywhere from, again, 90 seconds to 2 minutes. And then what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna start pushing, right, my leg into the floor, okay? So I'm creating that tension, right? Like I said, right, on previous Pails and Rails videos, that we wanna create that tension anywhere from, 20 to 40, or sorry, 30 seconds to a minute. Sorry, fumbling around there. 30 seconds to a minute, and ramping up tension. That first round, I'm just gonna go to about 70% effort, okay? So let's say that 1 minute has gone by, we're ramped up to 70% effort. Right now, I'm gonna think about lifting my leg up off of the floor. Because I'm in my end range, I'm not gonna be able to do that. But now what I wanna do is I wanna think about lifting, and I'm gonna try to rotate and get my other elbow down to the floor while keeping my abs tight. So now I've pulled myself into a deeper range actively. Okay, you might experience some cramping here, which is, you gotta breathe through. So I've gone 20 to 30 seconds, okay? And now I'm going to reduce that tension and breathe here for another 90 seconds to 2 minutes in that passive range, okay? So I've created that new range, all right? And now I'm gonna maintain that position, breathe, and then I'm gonna start all over again, ramping up to 90%, 100%, or safest, greatest effort, creating that tension into the floor, pulling myself into new range. And then remember that on that second round, because a lot of people will go, right, after they're done pulling themselves into new range, they'll come out of position, right? Remember that we have to breathe, right, into that new range that we just got into. We have to breathe there, right, to make sure that we're down regulating, right? We're letting our nervous system adapt to that new range, okay? It's not enough just to create tension there, right? And then you're like, oh, I got myself into a new range, and then you slide out of it, okay? The actual gains are gonna come from down regulating that tension and holding that position, right, in that passive stretch for another, again, 90 seconds to 2 minutes, and then switching sides. So it might seem like a lot of time, but the way that the program is set up, if you are plugging these into a mobility program, it is necessary, but the time, you're also going to be efficient as well, working that 45 minutes, 50 minutes throughout the entire program. So keep that in mind, okay? So always focus on that down regulation. That's where your gains are going to come from. Remember your cues, okay? And just because one hip, right, you're in one position on one side, that the other side is going to be the exact same, right? Not necessarily the case for 99% of people, especially me, right? I'm a very lopsided chimpanzee, so I have to adjust and get specific with each hip, okay? So keep that in mind, own your positions, create that tension, and down regulate.